if you want the tea on traveling as a Black woman in the travel influencer industry, not just traveling as a Black woman, but actually getting into the travel influencer industry, this video is for you. This is going to be a lot of fun. I met Shari a couple years ago, man, back when I lived in Denver, and I just caught up with her at Nomadness Fest, and she was sharing all the tea about how to get travel deals. And I was like, girl, I got to get you on my YouTube channel. So that's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
So yes, welcome, Shari.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, we're so happy to have you here. And I'm so excited to really pick your brain because I've traveled a lot, but my traveling has been as a missionary. It's not been as a travel influencer. It's not been as some of the other ways of travel that you have explored. I'm excited to get inside of your brain and understand a lot more of the details, okay? In
Yes.
addition to y'all, Shari has an amazing business of different ways to help you as well. So listen to those for those things as well. Okay, so let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so when we're thinking about the fact that as Black women, we have experienced for a long time that we're the last ones to get picked. Where even though we're the most educated, that we've done all the things, like I am seeing that change. So how has that been for you as being a Black woman, travel influencer? How have you got into this industry and really made a space for yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Shari Chin Young Caspin. I am your favorite travel coach and creative mental health specialist. I started traveling very young. Both my parents are immigrants. So travel is like innate, it's in my blood. It's like part of my pillars. Like everything about me is travel. And my parents immigrated here from Jamaica and China. I'm Chinese and Jamaican. And I just knew at a very young age that being the same, it doesn't exist. Like we're all very different. And travel is like the passage of healing, the passage of storytelling. So when I lived in New York, moved to Atlanta, graduated college, I knew for sure I wanted to study abroad. So I studied abroad in Paris, and then I lived in LA. Once living in LA, my boyfriend, which is my husband now, he was like, let's go backpacking. And I'm like, that's for white people. We don't go backpacking. And this is 2015. I had no idea what backpacking was. And so when you think about like you said, the growth of having Black travelers in the space, it was a mindset shift. And I really appreciate social media for showing us that there are different ways to travel and different economic ways to do it. So me, I needed to backpack because I didn't have the money to do the luxury travel. I didn't know that travel can be inexpensive. I didn't know it could be approachable. I didn't know I had access to it because growing up, we were going to Jamaica and my mom had to save her coins for all her kids to go to Jamaica. It's expensive when you have to buy a bunch of flights. But what I didn't know, there's like flight hacking and there's ways that you can go to different countries, and then once you're in that country, take a local plane somewhere. So we decided to go backpacking Southeast Asia, and that's when I learned like once you're in the country that you want to be in or in that region, you can then buy a cheap flight. And so having that opportunity and that insight, I knew I wanted to educate more people who look like me to let them know that we don't have to fly Delta only. We don't have to just get the American Airlines, not the name brand, but just American Airlines to take us to different places. We have the opportunity to explore different airlines and go different places. And it started really in 2015. There was like a flight glitch to Dubai. I don't know if anybody remembers that, if you were in a travel space when that happened, but there was a flight glitch to Dubai. It was a $200 round trip flight from New York to Dubai. And one of my sorority sisters was like, we have to go. And I'm like, what's in Dubai? This is 2015. I had no idea. She was like, girl, we need to go. And I was like, $200? I can make that happen. So
Hmm.
her, myself, my husband, a bunch of my other line sisters. we decided to go to Dubai and just explore. And we rented an Airbnb, which was super foreign. Like, my mom's like, "You're gonna go in somebody else's house and stay in there, and they're not gonna be there." The foreign concept of that. But now it's so easy for
Hmm.
us to have that opportunity to travel, like I said, with different budgets in mind. Airbnb created that great space for people to travel and to explore the local land in a different way other than hotels. So I just fell in love immediately with the opportunity to be in an Airbnb. My flight was cheap. There's like 15 of us in one Airbnb. This is before the rules. Y'all know there's rules now. There was like 15 of us in like a 3-bedroom Airbnb, and it was cheap because we tried to pack it out. There was no rules. And like I said, that was a defining moment in my travel experience because I recognized that okay, it's not just about the money, it's more about the mindset. Like, are you
Hmm.
going to just do it? Because I realized I can spend $200 easily on food or easily on something material. But if I really change my mind to like, okay, I want to explore something and
Hmm.
have value and have endless memories, money doesn't really, there's no real price to that. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that really answered your question, but just being in the space of knowing that travel is accessible. For a long
Hmm.
time growing up, I've heard black and brown people saying like they don't travel, traveling's for white people. This is literally my narrative that has been told to me of
Hmm.
like it's for white people, rich people do that. We only go back to like if we're not going back to Africa, we're not going anywhere. Like just these narratives that's been told that I believed, and I had to grow up to break them and actually get on a plane and explore for myself to see, wow, there's so much that the textbook does not show us.
Yeah. 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 And now that we have other people like you who are stepping out past what that textbook, I mean, I consider that another box. Stepping past that box and finding other things, we get to share that with everyone else because we all deserve to be out of that box. Which leads me to this question. So, okay, now you've gotten out of this box that travel is not accessible, and now it's like a part of life. Now it's something that is like, this is, if I'm not doing this, something's not right. Okay. So now I would imagine, at least for myself, that next box is it accessible to get into the influencer industry for someone who looks like me? So like, how did you come out of that box and then step into, no, I can actually do this and not just imagine doing it, like get brand deals and make this something that I make money on?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's a question that I'm like I pinch myself every day to think that I'm doing the thing that I love. Um, so I'm gonna break the question in different pieces. Getting into that influencer space, I'm gonna be 100% with you guys. It's really hard,
Mhm.
especially for I'm speaking from my experience, especially being marginalized. If your content doesn't look a certain way, or if you don't present a certain way,
Mhm.
it could be harder for you. Um, and I honestly did not know that I would become an influencer because it was already part of my life. And I always tell my clients, don't make the content, you are the content. Don't think
Mm.
that you're going to create a content plan and become something that you're not. Be who you are because that will lead you to authentic brand deals. I've
Mm.
had a lot of deals that I had to turn down because it wasn't aligned with my authenticity. And then they will send me the product and the product's not good. So it's like,
Mm.
I'm not about to lie to anybody. But the question is, how do you get into the space? How do you break through? I'm going to go back to mindset. It's a mindset thing. I had to change my mindset and say, I'm not doing this for brand deals because one, I didn't know that was an opportunity. I started in
Mm.
2015, 10 years almost. So I started in 2015. I didn't know. I was authentically sharing information, authentically sharing tips, authentically sharing like, hey, did you guys know that if you have a passport cover or just really sharing and creating stories with my audience or followers, which was such a new concept at that moment. But it wasn't until I had my daughter that I realized like, oh snap, I can make a business out of this. Like, and the reason why I went that direction because I realized that my daughter is only small in a certain moment of my life. So I wanted to, I don't want to use the word capitalize, but I wanted to share my new mom experience with the
Mhm.
internet. But baby, I didn't want to pay for them baby toys. I did not want to pay for trying new baby things. I didn't want to try, like, I didn't, it's expensive, especially when you
Mhm.
don't know as a parent. And so what I did was, and this, and y'all need to write, take your pens out, because what I did was I had a plan. I said, okay, once I have my daughter, I'm going to share my experience from my perspective, but I'm going to create spec ads. A spec ad is basically you're creating something that's speculating. So hypothetically, if I had this chapstick, right?
Okay.
This
Mhm.
chapstick, this is Burt's Bees chapstick, and if I authentically like it and I love it, I would create a post saying, "Wow, y'all, my lips was so chapped when I was pushing my baby out. The only thing that really worked was this Burt's Bees chapstick, and I enjoyed it so much." Then what I would do is I would tag Burt's Bees and I would have a call to action. Y'all got chapped lips? Something like that. So it kind of looked like an ad, but it was my authentic story and it was
Mhm.
truly who I am. And
Mhm.
that created attention and it speculated with the brand itself. So that's
Mhm.
like a way to do it. And also it's a way for you to practice to see if you want to work with brands. Because a lot of times your content you may not be comfortable selling, but there's a way that you can do it. And I always tell my clients, like, just try with something in your house. Start with the toothpaste, start with your toothbrush, start with the soap that you use, and create your style of how you're going to sell this product. Because at the end of the day, you're an influencer if you influence people to click the button.
Mhm.
All of us are
Mhm.
content creators, but the influencer is the person that influences you to click the button because if they're not clicking, that means they're not buying, which means the brand is not
Mhm.
going to pay you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're in this travel space, I encourage you to look at the stuff that you're using, your suitcase, your packing cubes, the the, the travel toothpaste, your vitamins, whatever industry that you're in. If you're in fashion, if you like your favorite shirt that you like to put on, your towel, whatever it is, I challenge you today, pick a product and try to influence people to buy it. Not by being preppy, like whatever style it is for you. For me, it's through storytelling, it's being like a tip. I love tips. That's how I tell my stories. But for you, it might be something different. Try it. Try it first and try it your style. Once you do that, then we can move on to the space of brand deals
Yeah.
because then you'll get the traction and you'll see what your audience is liking. Because I believe brand deals, the reason why brand deals works is because they're tapping into your audience that they cannot
Mhm.
reach. So I
Mhm.
already have a niche. I have first time moms, I have travelers, I have people who are interested in being content creators. So if you are a camera brand, me and the camera brand will probably be super aligned because I've already targeted an audience that they didn't necessarily reach. So if you're someone who's in the space that you're a beauty or fitness instructor, a lot of brands, if you niche it to your audience, they're gonna pay you because they couldn't reach the people who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And so being black and brown, they a lot of times their marketing skills don't resonate with us. They're not using our same language. They're not using our colors. They're not using our hand gestures, our tone. So they're going to pay you. They'll pay you to use your authentic voice to speak to your audience because they know that they can.
Yeah.
And there's money and space in the industry. However, if we talk about the complexity of it in comparison to other influencers, it's a deeper conversation. But knowing your value and knowing your worth, there's a lot of Facebook groups that I've joined. There's a lot of mistakes that I've made. I should have got paid more for some of these things, but it's all like a learning curve.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always say that almost none of us go through any of these things without that learning curve. But it is such an opportunity, such an amazing thing that you are on here sharing some of the things to get us started. So we're grateful for you sharing, you know, uh,
Yeah.
some of the steps that are going to like stop gatekeeping that kind of information of like,
Oh my
where
God.
do we even get started and how do you do that? Which leads me to this next question because I love that you said at the beginning, like you really have to start with getting grounded in what is your content type and how do you create that. I would love for you to think back, like before you figured that out, like what, or before you really got started, like what intimidated you about getting started? Because I would imagine there's some of the same things that some of these people are intimidated by, and like how did you do it?
Yeah. Um, I started really like in the Snapchat era. So there was less room for feeling like your content is going to live forever. And
Mm,
then once I transitioned into the Instagram space, I never was really insecure about my content because I didn't have a strategy. I was just creating content. I
mm,
didn't care. I was just, when you go back on people's page, you like, oh, there was no strategy here. They were so once the imposter syndrome happened when I started to hear my fellow creators get money, and I'm like, how, Sway? We both working hard. How are you doing this? And a lot of them would not share because
mm,
one, it was new, right? So hypothetically, if Nike's giving a deal to me and you're like, Shari, how you did it? And in my contract, I'm like, I can't tell you, sis. Sorry.
mm,
It's
mm,
like, dang, like you don't even want to tell me how you started. And I like how you mentioned it's the foundational work. You have to have you For me, I think that you have to build your own personal brand and your own personal foundation before you're even thinking about wanting to reach to another brand
mm,
because brands are coming to work with you. And I
mhm,
think sometimes people start this journey with the end goal in mind without thinking like the real end goal is community.
mm,
I didn't start this because I wanted a brand deal. I really didn't even know that was an option. I had no
mhm,
idea. I started this because I wanted to share my journey. And I
mhm,
think if we approach this even in 2024, content creation with I just want to create a community. I just want to foster a group and really help them through my journey and be authentic and let them know like I think I'm an expert in this, y'all, but y'all know how things change. Speaking to people as if you really want to help, brands will start to see that. I think we're
mhm,
craving storytellers, we're craving authentic content creators in this place now. And in the travel space specifically, I get frustrated because now it just feels like commercialized. It
mhm,
feels as if it's unapproachable. When
mhm,
I was traveling, it like the lighting wasn't great. You didn't really hear what I was saying on the mic. And I get why we had to adjust, but now it's like everybody's a commercial.
mhm,
Nobody's telling
mhm.
us that they got robbed at the bus stop anymore because it happens. They don't want to share that story anymore.
Right,
They just want to
right.
share the glamorous life of it. And so if you're starting in this space, I would love for you to tap into the authentic storytelling. And I'm not going to even hold you though. It might take long for you to grow. However, it's not about the wideness, it's about the deepness. So if you have a community of 50 people who are riding and dying for you, like whatever link you put out, they're like, I trust her.
Mhm.
That will convert. Like your numbers will convert to brand deals because you don't just have 30,000 followers and only two people are clicking your link.
Yeah, yeah. And understanding, I don't want to say it is the word metrics, but understanding how all of these pieces fit into the puzzle and really understanding that it starts with you figuring out how to be a human on a camera is like really the first thing because we get to the internet and we're scared to have a conversation in the DMs. We're scared to share our thoughts on a live. We're scared to have a conversation. Like it's something about the camera that takes away the humanity of it. And when I hear you say authenticity, that's what I connect that to. Is like, how do we get past whatever baggage we have about recognizing that we're looking at our camera and realizing that
Mhm.
there's people on the other side and taking action or having conversation or creating this space where we can actually connect with them. And that's what makes it so much better. So I understand that, and I love that you said like it because you started in an era with Snapchat where it was like you kind of just got to go on and you didn't have to care. You literally just got the chance to try it out and find out what you like. And then from that it evolved. Would you say that's what changed everything? Or like, what's the thing that made it be like, I know you said your daughter, but what's the thing that made it be like, I think that I actually like this enough that I want to keep doing it? Like, because you could have tried all of that stuff and been like, to hell with this. This is stupid. This is not my
Mhm.
vibe. I just want to go back. Like, what made you decide this was the vibe for you and you wanted to keep going as a business?
Yeah, I think it was the moment I realized I wasn't getting paid, but I still wanted to create content. Like when
Mm,
I not the necessarily like I was addicted to it, but like I truly wanted people to get out and travel. Like I truly had a
mm-hmm,
mission to really want to break down stereotypes and give people the opportunity to know like, nah, you can get flight deals, like you can stay in hostels, you can do an au pair. Like there's so many opportunities for you to travel. I felt guilty for I felt like I was gatekeeping and nobody was asking for the information. So I in the moment I knew like, man, I really am truly doing this without getting paid and I'm doing it with a smile on my face and I really love it. That's when I realized like, what if I did get paid though? What if I can pay my bills and like it can be a lifestyle? How different would I approach it? And I think
mm-hmm,
now we're in a space, like I said, where people are approaching it from the back end and they're thinking
mm-hmm,
about that future of the check. And I'm gonna be 100% transparent with you guys. You make money, but you don't. Like there's some months I'm making 10 grand and some months I'm making $0. So it's not consistent. It's not a
yeah.
consistent lifestyle. And that's where you see a lot of influencers. I'm gonna tell y'all the cycle of influencers. First you start as an influencer, then you release like a free ebook, right? You do that because it's called your lead magnet. You're
Mm-hmm,
creating a lead magnet. So if it's an ebook, if it's a checklist, something that you're providing your audience with for free, low
mm-hmm,
cost. Then you collect all these emails, right? Now you have a list of maybe 20 to 300 plus emails.
mm-hmm,
Then from your lead magnet, then you create this email funnel. You're talking to your community, you're giving them gems in the email, all free, 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 free,
mm-hmm,
free, free. Then you hit them with, hey guys, I am working with a brand, yada yada. I would love for y'all to support me. That's and that. Say if that's working for you. If it's not, it's okay. Keep going. Then you offer them your service. So whatever you became an expert in, whether that's your fitness. For me, I coach, so that's part of my services is coaching, helping you go from fuzzy to focus, and helping you have like strategic content. That's my thing. And then after coaching, then there's courses. You sell your $10,000 course. The point is there is a whole blueprint on how to get out of content creating. And what
mm-hmm,
y'all are seeing is everybody in that middle of it because content creating is a lot of work. It's a
mm-hmm,
lot of work. Honestly,
mm-hmm.
I feel like I should be getting paid $500,000 a year because, as you know, setting up a camera, editing, and then going on Instagram and then commenting on people, it's a lot. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot. So if you are interested in this space, I would say enjoy every phase of it. Enjoy building your community. Enjoy taking those innocent family vacations and nobody's asking for your content and you're just authentically sharing. Don't feel
Mhm,
like you have pressure to do it. And I think what makes it really cool is once you have strategy, you can skip a lot of steps. You
mhm,
can skip the a lot of trial and error. Like I said, if you guys do a spec ad, just see if you even want to be an influencer. This job is not for everybody, and it
mhm,
shouldn't be. But just
mhm,
see if it's if you think, oh my god, I have to have 10,000 followers and for me to work with a brand, maybe. But can you even if the brand were to come to your email right now, what example do you have to show them?
mhm,
If you
mhm,
have nothing, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So
mhm,
I would always even if you have 10 followers, speak to your audience as if it's 10,000 people.
mhm,
Create the content because when the brand is ready to work with you, you have something available.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many gems in that and so much around, again, getting back to this foundation of don't go in the goal should not be to get a brand deal. The goal should be to create a community. And I think that's where we get distracted a lot of times, as we, like you keep saying, we're getting it the other way around. Now, that being said, you join, I don't know how long you've been in a Madness Fest, or, give us a little bit of background about how you found that. What was your intention when you joined it? That kind of
Yeah, and this story might be completely false, but this is from what I remember. I remember being in, you know how sometimes your brain be just adding gaps to it. So if Evita hears this and she's like, she's lying, please correct me, Evita, in the comments when you see this. But I remember being in Thailand, 2015. My husband Dane, we were going to Koh Phi Phi, one of the islands in Thailand. And my husband saw Evita with a group of black women. He was like, "Did you see that lady? She had like 20 black women with her." I was like, "No." Because first off, I lost our camera. We bought a Sony camera. I lost it on the boat. I was trying to figure that out. And then he was talking to her and he was like, "This is super dope. She has a group called Nomadness Tribe, and her goal and objective is to bring black and brown travelers around the world by curating a safe itinerary, a safe space for them." And I was like, "Oh wow, that's like so unheard of in 2015. No idea that that was like even a thing." And we stayed in contact with via Instagram, and she started following me, and she let us know like at that time me and my husband both had a nonprofit. We were traveling the world asking people what inspired them the most about life and living, and we didn't know that we were creating a business. However, once we noticed what she was doing in the travel space, she was like, "Y'all, traveling is a $1 billion industry. We need to tell more people about it, and there needs to be more travel entrepreneurs in the space." No idea. Travelpreneur was not a word back then. I feel like the first time I heard it was through her, and she's like,
stuff.
I want you to know, like, this is about to take off." I'm like, "Okay, girl, yeah, cute." And then she invited Dana and I to her second Nomadness Fest in New York City as speakers. And because Dana and I were like one of the first in the travel space to travel as a couple and to
Mm,
be backpackers. Like we were like the face of black backpackers because like I said, it was not a thing, especially being a couple together, doing it together. And she invited us to Nomadness Fest. And I realized like, oh snap, she's building a whole community. Like there are
mm,
people paying to hear our travel stories. Never knew that that could be a thing, that you can get paid to share your travel stories. You can get paid to give people travel hacks. She kind of like, she was like, I don't know, like a futurist. I don't know how she foreseen this. So that's how I got involved with No Madness Tribe, and I joined their Facebook group. And in the group, if you guys have not joined already, there is an amazing community of people just sharing itineraries. If you have a travel question, if anything happens to you in a country, if they have a connect, it's just like a big family. And she was one of the first people that I've heard use the word tribe correctly. It feels
mm,
like a tribe. It feels like there's so many people from doctors to 18-year-olds to grandmas in this space. So I love that.
okay. That's okay.
And then she invited me out to this recent No Madness Fest, and she told me about Industry Day,
Mm,
which I had no idea what this was. So this is a number gem moment. A lot of travel content creators work with tourism boards,
mm,
and tourism boards are basically the nonprofit for marketing in each country and or state or wherever you're at. Okay. So let's just say with a travel tourism board, a city like Charlotte, hypothetically, they have a tourism board that has X amount of dollars for marketing for people to come to their city.
mm,
Now that influencer has been a thing, sometimes cities and countries will have a set budget for influencers to come to influence the city. So they'll
Mm,
pay a content creator to make a video and or photos about visiting the city. Now, I knew about that. I just didn't know how to get in contact with these people. So what I would do before industry day, and what I will continue to do, is I'll send like a cold email, meaning I don't know them, they don't know me, and I'll have a pitch. So I have a pitch deck that I create, and in my pitch deck, I also have a pitch template in my email, and I basically pitch myself as to why I'm a good fit for that city and or country. And I'll say something very short, but very specific about me and how I think I can add value to their city and hope that they will respond back. That's the part where it gets sticky. Being a content creator, they don't want to tell you this, but it's like applying for jobs every day and getting a constant deny, or just nobody responding back to you at all.
mm,
A bunch of it is about cold emails. Sometimes you'll have brands reach out to you, but a lot of times you are doing the work and reaching out to brands yourself. This is what they
mm.
don't want to tell you. It looks like we're just getting all these brand deals and people are sliding through our DMs. That's not my story. That might be somebody else's story. That's not my story, and I just want y'all to know that the stories can happen different ways. And I hope for you, brand deals are just flooding through your DMs. However, back to industry day, Evita realized that she was getting invited to these travel conferences, but not to their industry day. And so she's like, huh? And then she realized, okay, I have to apply. So she'll apply and still get denied. And this is somebody who
Mm,
has a tribe of people. Why is she getting denied? Why is she getting denied? So I think finally she was able to get into one big travel conference and she realized, wow, I'm the only or one of the only black and brown people of color, like women here. Um, this has to change. Why are we a room full of white people, I should say, and they get an opportunity to meet with over 50 plus
mm,
brands, tourism boards, and they're having this one on one conversation, a 15-minute conversation with them to sell themselves and to pitch. But we don't get those opportunities. Or if you do, you're one of the only, and they're not really listening to you. So she
mm,
decided to add that to her fest, which I thought
mm.
was genius. She did
Yeah.
it on a smaller scale because she told me that when she did it, it was like 50 brands that she had to meet back to back. There was no rest. At the end of the 10th brand, you're just like a robot and you're not
Wow.
really selling yourself. It's exhausting. And then you're in a big convention center with hundreds of people. So it's a long day. So she was like,
Mm,
I'm going to take that and scale it. And I'm going to be intentional about the people who I invite at the table. So all the tourism boards and companies that she invited, they intentionally want to work with people of color. They
mm,
want to have these conversations. They want to make a difference in their city. They want to work with influencers. It's no fluff. It's like, I'm here because this is what I want. And then on the out end for us, for industry day, you have to apply. So you have to be ready and prepared. And that's why I was telling you guys, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, because when industry day comes up next year, they go through your Instagram, they go through like who you are as a person, and then you get that opportunity to come. Because, I appreciate the application process because you don't just want anyone there. You want
mm.
people who have put in the work. You want people who has a community. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, these tourism boards can pay up to $20,000 a post.
Wow. A post, not just a deal, a post.
Yeah. Yeah. So, not to say that that's going to be your first deal, but that's something that you can work towards. And
Yeah.
sometimes it might just be all expense paid, where they'll fly you out and you might not get paid for it, but they're going to fly you out to do maybe a story or whatever it is. The purpose is that they want you to be in their city so you can show your audience that you approve of the city.
Yeah. But even just giving some numbers on like what to expect on the range of like what is a beginner? What would it look like at a beginner level, or what would it could it look like at a higher level? Again,
Hmm.
those are things that we don't even begin to know. So then you say by you go through all of that and you finally get into the conversation and you're trying to negotiate and you don't know what to negotiate for. And I mean, this is not necessarily something you see on the internet where you can get all the details or again, that gatekeeping information. So even just sharing the
Hmm.
potential of what that looks like is so, so amazing. Okay. So then you got into Nomadness Fest. Again, you said you got ready, so you stayed ready so you didn't have to get ready. Um,
Hmm.
what would you say was the most important thing once you got in the room? Like, what was the secret thing that helped you
Secret.
navigate it all? Yes.
Like you said, the stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But I think my secret weapon was my niche, knowing my niche and knowing my strategy and
Hmm.
knowing who I want to talk to. I know sometimes we get into a space where we get that glittery syndrome and everything that shines we want. Like, oh, I want to, and I have to pace myself sometimes. Like every deal isn't a good deal. Every city isn't good for your audience. Even though you can be like, ooh, that coffee is good over there. I want to work with them. Is that beneficial to your community? And
Right.
knowing my community is the reps that I put up, the posts that I put up daily. Like really knowing my community is the secret because once you get in front of these cities, you can be like, you know what? My audience would truly enjoy your artist residency that you have, giving them the opportunity to come to your
Mm-hmm.
city, live here, and get X amount of money. I would love to promote that. So if you know your audience and you know your strategy, you can come to these brands or these tourism boards and knowing you can look at their, okay, I'm about to tell you my process. What I did was I got the list of tourism boards. I
Mm-hmm.
looked at the list. I went through all their Instagrams. I went through all their websites. I looked at the gap that I feel like I can fill. So
Mm.
whatever I feel like is a problem that I see as a problem and that
Yeah.
I think I have a solution to provide, I then created a pitch for every single brand. I created
Mm.
a customized pitch for every brand, and this is a big secret. I printed it out and I had my media kit on one side and I had my pitch on the other side and I presented them the pitch. And all of them said, out of all the years that I've done this, nobody has ever done this for us. Nobody has
Mm.
ever come to this conversation so prepared and so ready to solve an issue and want to work together. And that
Yeah.
was my biggest ammo was like, oh, baby, I did the research. This is
Mm-hmm.
the hole, and this is
Yeah.
where I can fill it. But this is how we can work together. This is less
Yeah.
about me and more about you and I working together. So here is a pitch, but it doesn't mean that you'll say yes to this. What this means is showing you my capability, but let me hear what you think the issues are. And so we can work together because it's less about me coming to save the day, but more about us working together.
Yeah. And that is so huge. Doing the research and coming with, here's my idea for you. Because even for me as a YouTube creator, if someone comes to me and they say, oh, can I be on your YouTube channel? Okay, well, what's your idea? If you don't have an idea and I got to go do all the work to figure it out, the answer's going to be no. The answer is going to be no, because I can find someone who is already aligned and who has already done that kind of thing. The research is so, so huge. I appreciate so much that you said it and how far you took it to actually printing it out and making sure that they had a physical representation that they could come back to. I know a lot of us have gotten into the digital world, but there's still something beautiful about having cards. Like people still come back to that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying you do it for everything, but you start to recognize where the spaces where it's really going to make you stand out and help people remember you and what you do. So, oh, those are good secrets. Those are, and listen, I'm gonna have to go back afterward and get my little paper and get that written down.
Facts, facts. And I know you mentioned like there's nowhere online to kind of know what the payment range is. There's this website. Write this down. It's called FU Pay Me. And it's a website that influencers use. And we go on there and we are honest about how much we get paid for each deal so you can
Ooh.
know where to start from. And it's so great because it kind of breaks that ceiling of seeing what a white the scarcity of what a white creator gets paid versus what a black creator gets paid, and then or just whatever it is, just the diversity you can see if somebody's getting paid more or less. And it's a community, an influencer community that's created, and everybody is trying to be as authentic as possible. Like, hey, this is how much Apple paid me to get these
Mhm.
AirPods. This is what I had to do. X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it's anonymous, but it's at least it's a good start for you to be like, oh, so Apple got 50K. All
Mm.
right, noted. Noted. And you won't know until you know. Until you're in the space. And that's why I highly encourage following YouTubers. I highly encourage joining Facebook groups. I paid for a lot of groups. I paid for a lot of this information that I'm telling you guys. And rightfully so, it is really great information. However, you still have to invest in yourself. So if there's somebody that
Mm-hmm.
is offering a program, there's a reason why they're asking you to pay, is because some of this information, if it were free, the value of the information will not be as great. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I want to make sure that we're clear here. Like, I'm going to share as much as I can, but at the same time, all the work really comes into your investment. How much work, how many hours you're putting in front of the camera, how many hours you are going out and talking to people, how many times, how many cold emails you're doing. There's no secret to this. There's no real secret.
Mm-hmm.
It's work. It is
Mm-hmm.
work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
And
lastly, my biggest gem is ChatGPT.
uh, come on.
ChatGPT is my assistant. I love her. She writes all, like, most of my pitches. She is writing my caption. She gives me a lot of ideas. I love her.
Yes. Yes. And again, I love that you laid in that point about investment, because the $20 investment for ChatGPT to be your assistant endlessly with the best amount of information, like the widest range or most updated information that it has, is worth the $20 a month, especially if we do the math. Like, here's where we forget to allow the math. If you put in $20 and that investment of $20 allows you to make $200, was it not worth it? You know, and if you put in $200 and that investment allows you to make $2,000, we forget that this is when people talk about you gotta pay to play, and that's what helps you get it. And that's like we underestimate what that looks like. And the other thing you said about like free information, every coach wants to serve you. Sorry, we want to serve you, but the range of information that you need to get from where you are today to where you want to be is never going to be enough to get that. It's never going to be enough time to get it to you in 45 minutes. It's not. It's not. This is 6 months, and you want me to invest 6 months of time into you. I need you to invest 6 months of money into me. And I
Yeah.
don't say that in
Yeah.
a mean way, but this is work. This is work, you know?
And I feel for the people, because I used to be that girly who didn't believe in coaches. Like, I was like, I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. Or I never
Hmm.
believed in group trips. I'm still on the fence of them, but I always was like, I will do it myself and not wanting to pay. And I had to sit with myself and ask, where is this coming from? A lot of it is that scarcity mindset of just
Yeah.
feeling like I'm not paying for nothing. Like, there's a cheaper way of doing it. There's a cheaper way, and not realizing that the cheaper way is taking you longer. The cheaper way
Hmm.
is giving you cheap results. The cheaper way is
Right.
exhausting you. The cheaper way, yes, there is a cheaper way. There is. There is, and I can agree. However, if you decide to invest, like I said, it will speed up the process.
Yeah.
Now, there are fraud people out there. I know there's people that you are scared to give your money to, and I'm not saying you should give $10,000 to a stranger online. I'm not saying that. And that's why it's important, if you're going to position yourself to build community, to really build community. And if you are a
Hmm.
participant in these communities, participate, so when you are deciding to invest, you've already filtered questions, you already asked, or you already slid to this person's DM. You watch all their free information. You downloaded their free guide. You watched it. So now when you put that $2,000, $10,000 investment, you're adding value. You're like, okay, we can skip over that free information that you give the people that don't watch your stuff, but this is where I have the issue at.
Yeah.
I love clients like that who can be like, this is where I need you to help, because then I work harder. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
I don't gotta give you the fluff. Great.
Right. Right. We can actually get down into this and get this done. Let's get to that work. Like, that is an
Exactly.
amazing thing. And that means the other thing about that is that means you've invested in building a relationship with that person. That's where the trust, people always say, or you hear business coaches say, you need to build know, like, and trust. If you don't have a community, there's a difference between putting out content and actually building a community. And so, like, this is where you get in and you actually start to share. And a lot of times, I think, and I'm only going to do a little bit of this because this is getting off the topic a little bit. But I think we get scared to share because we're scared that someone's going to steal our idea. But if you don't share, you're not going to build the no like trust, and you're never going to get the clients, get the traction, get the things that you need because nobody knows what you're about. They don't know what you believe. They're not going to just come with you because you said you do this. They need to actually feel an understanding and a connection to who you are and what you believe in. So I'm off that soapbox, but yeah,
For sure.
I love it. I love it. So that being said, I want you guys to know how to work with Shari. So, she gave a little bit of an introduction of who she is at the beginning, but Shari, give us an introduction of, who are you as a content coach, and what does that look?
Yeah. So I started my really investing into myself maybe like 3 months ago. And the phrase fuzzy to focus came to my head. So I like to help people go from fuzzy to focus because as a creator, myself, I know what it feels like to have a billion ideas
Mhm.
and then about to film and be like, yeah, you know what? No, it's a no for me today. Or just feeling so overwhelmed with the amount of inspiration that you get. Or even like the creators who feel icky about Instagram in general because
Mhm.
of the bad taste that it leaves in your mouth and people just not showing up authentically on this platform. I really want to help creators um have visibility and in an authentic way. And I want to help you go from just creating willy-nilly content to having strategic content. So if
Mhm.
brand deals is our end goal, I will walk you through the process of what you should do, meaning what your pitch deck should look like, what your spec ad should look like, what your pitch template should look like, how to contact a tourism board, how to sign these contracts, giving you the gems of the websites that you need to make sure that you're not getting hit over your head and really walking you through that process. Now, a lot of people may not be at that phase yet. So that's why I offer a 90-minute call of just walking through your content and adding brand clarity and doing an Instagram audit and really just helping you get to the space to build foundation. I always encourage my clients to start with that 90-minute call. Let's build that foundation. And if you want to come back for our 3-month retainer, let's do that. But I'm not trying to take your money. Right now, I'm offering a special. It's just $97 for just a 90-minute call, and it's an interactive call. And I have um, my interactive preset where I am helping you create your vision, doing a live Instagram audit for you. And at the end of it, you get a whole deck, a brand deck for you to keep.
Wow. Wow. And all of that for $97. And I understand you're
For
doing it at
now.
that
Now, if
price.
you watching
Yes.
this 3 months from now,
Because today's price ain't tomorrow's price. So not only that,
exactly.
like, this is the introductory to get you started. Again, as I said, Shari is giving you that option is giving you the understanding and helping you see just how much he can help you, but that's only the beginning. So I say start with the audit, knowing that Shari has a wealth of knowledge. I mean, when I met her, she was traveling around the country with the brand, helping them promote and sharing that story. So the the opportunities are limitless, but that is your start. Okay. So let's be clear with that.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you just like sharing your platform with me and just reaching out to me. And then when we met, was it at your house or somebody's? It was like somebody's house
N-
that we
It
were
was
doing a speaking.
yeah, it was a speaking, it was not our house, but it was a house. I don't know whose house that we were at, but it was a house for that tour that we were at. And I can't remember the name of it
Yep.
right now for the book. Man, I'm having a brain fart on all of it. But yeah, that was back in Denver, which feels like a lifetime ago for me. Um, So yeah, this
But
is
something as simple as this is amazing. Like reaching out to community, sharing platforms, calling each other up, and just like remembering that the people that you meet, I love in real life experiences because sometimes we miss it on the gram. I know in
hmm
2020 I was like not talking to a lot of people, obviously because I couldn't, but then I took that habit all the way up into 2024, and 2024 was like, all right, I gotta come outside. So if you like me and you're not realizing like, oh snap, I'm taking my pandemic habits with me all the way to
mm,
2024. I do a
yeah,
reality trek, go to some outside events, go to Nomadness Fest, and hop on the lives, your Friday lives, meet people and interact because you're gonna get so
yeah,
much value out of it.
yeah, yeah. It's a really good opportunities to really meet the like-minded people that you might not just run into on a regular day. So when you're traveling, ask where so and so is, see if you could have coffee with them. And that's what it was. I saw that Shari was coming to Charlotte, and I was like, I haven't seen you in forever. Can we connect? And then when we got there, I was like, no, wait, we could do a video and allow those things to kind of naturally, because you built a, a, a relationship, a friendship with someone, allow it to explore and grow and all of those amazing things. Yes, I love this. I love it so much. I think there is a bit of a right way and a wrong way. I mean, we can always start somewhere and then figure it out, but you can figure it out and end up in the wrong way. Like, what does it look like to do this wrong? And how can we
Mhm.
avoid ending up there?
Okay. Yeah, I love this question. A lot of it happens from creative burnout.
Hmm
And I specifically went back to school to get my master's in social work because I wanted to understand the relationship and human behavior with society, specifically on social media and how that
hmm
is going to affect us and is affecting us. Um, and so the wrong way to for me is allowing your mental health to be
mm
challenged in this space. And when I say challenge, I mean overcoming and winning. Like if you
mm
find yourself obsessing, having anxiety, losing sleep, um, unhealthily being on social media, that's when you have to take a step. When you find yourself not being your true self on these spaces, and yeah, there is our camera voice, and then there's our real voice. Um, but mental health is something that we loosely use now because it's popular, it's a buzzword, it's sensationalized. But when you do it the wrong way, you don't even realize that you're in this mental spiral. You
mhm.
don't even realize that you have anxiety over posting. And it almost sounds ridiculous, but it's real.
It
You don't
is.
even realize that you have imposter syndrome. You don't even realize that you're comparing yourself and calling yourself ugly on these videos and deleting it because you feel like you don't look nice. And that's when I don't agree with the social media society. And that's why I always say build your community because they're going to be there before the glow up. They're gonna
hmm
be there before you get that $60,000 check. They're gonna love you for looking crusty in the morning before your house turns big. They're gonna love you regardless. And maybe the comments may be like, "Oh, you changed," and it's like, "Yeah, baby, I grew up." But that is like really like the wrong way of doing it to me is like allowing your mental health to suffer. It should not. It's nobody's asking for this content unless
hmm
you signed a brand deal. Do not like fight yourself just to present yourself in a specific way. It's never that serious. It's never
Yeah.
that serious.
Yeah. I mean, that I love that. That is the mission. I mean, this whole channel is about quit being a strong Black woman, redefine who you are beyond your job title. Even if that job title is being a travel influencer, a technical designer, an engineer, whatever that is, none of those things define you. And if you're allowing those things to be the core of who you are probably sacrificing, giving up who you actually are, the beautiful person that you actually are, to try and be something that was never meant for you to be. Those things should have been an
Yeah.
expression of who you are. They should always have been an outcome of who you are. They should have never been the foundation of who you are. So I that is the perfect way for us to ground this message, like as we're wrapping up
Yes.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just add one more thing of like, sometimes we forget the beauty of hobbies and not realizing that everything doesn't have to be filmed or everything doesn't have
Yes.
to be a business. And I think sometimes our community, specifically the Black women community, and we do this in 11 ways, like, oh girl, you make this tea so good. You should start a tea business. And it's like, wait, guys, I just want to make tea for my friends. Like, I know I do it well, but we do it. We're coming from such a loving place because we want to see
Hmm.
our friend win, our family members win. But then we
Yeah.
push this idea of like, you should do this, girl. It should be a business. And it's like some things can be a hobby. Like travel, if it's not for you to influence, put the camera down. It's
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
If you want to go out with your friends and go eat, the camera don't need to. You don't have to experience things through a lens all the time.
Hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay knowing, and I think, with the work that we do as coaches, we allow them to see that when you have strategy. I was guilty of filming everything when I traveled
Mm.
until I realized I don't have to film everything. Some things are for me and some
Hmm.
things are for my community. And once I know that messaging of what's for my community, I can enjoy my food because I'm not a food blogger.
For peace of mind and savor it without trying to get the best shot of it first.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So yeah, I
Yeah.
encourage, prioritizing mental health and prioritizing bringing hobbies back into your space without the camera being there. If you want to go work out, we don't got to know it. It's okay. Go work out.
I love that. Peace. Like, here's the thing. Again, I talked about this. It's about creating peace. Like, so if you're trying to show everything all the time, believe me, that's not creating peace for you. So, you guys, you've been here, you've been on this channel for a while, but I'm gonna remind you who I am. I am Rashadat, your dream strategist, and I help you quit being a strong Black woman. So if you that are that person who knows that you've been in a habit of working harder and harder and harder to prove your worth, and you're like, listen, I'm exhausted, I'm tired of that, and you're ready to actually see your life shift, then I would love to chat with you. I have a 90-minute intensive where we can actually really sit back from all of it, not just how you make money, your relationships, like how you do your finances, all of these things. We step back from all of that and say, how can we actually make this shift for you? So make sure you check out the 90-minute intensive. That is going to be in the description. On this channel, I'm going to be continuing to talk about travel, good food. These are all the things that I like. These are some of my hobbies that I like to share, going dancing, all of those things. So enjoy those while also checking out all the different things and the amazing creators like Shari that I have today. So with that being said, Shari, thank you so much for doing this interview with me today. It's been really awesome.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate you sharing the stage. And that's another gem of like just inviting people when you're not the expert in the space, invite people to be that person to speak and work with them versus working against them. So I appreciate you. You guys get her 90-minute intensive in your
Yes,
life.
I love it. I love it. All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.